good to see. We got some comments already from viewers
Yeah,
here.
like
Yeah,
we are we live?
hello, everyone. Yeah, we are live. Happy holidays, happy 2024. Hope everybody had a good, nice week or so, kind of reset before we get right back into the thick things this year. There's a lot of stories to cover today. A lot going on in the market. Seems like there's big shifting of tides. First trading day of the year. But welcome back, George, and let's have a great 2024 with Prospero, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to cut this up to a short because there's actually been a lot of questions about our paid products. And now I'm wondering if we should have been like, yeah, we don't have the normal influx right away. But maybe people will get wise. Maybe 15 minutes was too much notice. We're going to think about that. But like, just to be clear, like the whole evolution of our paid products was as follows. Like essentially we started out by having like a once a week letter and then like a multiple times a week trading letter and or sorry, like a multiple times, like it was a weekly letter and then a 2x weekly letter, and that was really confusing to people. Then we switched it to like an investing letter and a trading letter, and I actually like that distinction because the investing letter is actually more about like long only, and then strategies around that, strategies for people that are like, maybe more long only, maybe longer term holders, and then like sprinkling in, some hedging strategies around that as we do. But also update like the paid version of the investing letter gets you a more frequent update. It gets you more timely information around our picks. And we're actually just going to lean into that a little harder. The reason that nobody's gotten a letter this week is actually just because I didn't want to write the letter last night. There was like too much uncertainty around it or yesterday, or I was going to write it this morning, and I didn't necessarily like have enough clarity on the markets. And that actually taught me a lesson, which is just like, why am I forcing myself to write a Sunday letter when sometimes I'm not going to be doing like, when I actually could be I could be in better service by saying like, I actually am not as confident. I like want to see the market data tomorrow before I make that decision. So that's where I'm at. So basically like the full evolution is we had an investing letter and a trading letter, and the trading letter I'm writing once a day. Those people that tune into the live streams have seen me do a live model portfolio update along with the trading letter. That will still be the case. But I would say the only difference there is that now the investing letter is not necessarily going to be once a week we make our picks. I might make those update more often because like part of the reason that like I've actually been doing this really live, like we look at the technicals in the Sunday letter and we like do screens. Like one of the reasons I've been doing that is like I need it to be as timely as possible. So I essentially like am confident that it's going to last for the week and I don't need to update. But the reality of the situation is that's not the market. The market is like, I do maybe want to update more than that every week. So now like when you subscribe to our paid investing letter, you will get the most timely update to the picks. That's part of what you will get as a paid user. But I will still do a weekend letter where you'll get my market view and you'll get my sector view. But like in terms of the picks that could update at any time, I will do that likely through chats. I might send out another letter. I'm not really sure how I'll do that. But basically, yes, when you pay for the investing letter, that's what's going to get you timely access. You will still like guaranteed get at least one free letter a week in the investing letter. But if you want timely access to my current newsletter picks for the investing letter, like some weeks you will get that on Sunday, some weeks you won't. But you will get a free letter every Sunday, and then there'll be one paid letter in addition to that. And then the picks could come in at any time outside of those two, that one free and that one paid letter. Then the trading letter will just be exactly the same as it has been. The only thing that I'm actually deciding with that is how I want to do the model portfolio. If I maybe want to do, I'm considering having like 3 different portfolios, like a high churn investing portfolio that could change every day, and then more of like a buy and hold investing portfolio. That's more just like, hey, actually, this is what I'm holding for the year. I might update it like kind of periodically. And then the high churn trading portfolio. And just to be clear, when I say investing, I'm talking about the investing letter. When I say trading, I'm talking about the trading letter. And that's all of our products. Like, we will actually roll out trade alerts in the app this year. We're going to roll out some other things. Those will come shortly after our round is done, and our round is actually going great. If anybody has any questions, ping me on the side. There might be opportunities to join the round, depending on what your ability to invest is. But yeah, I'll pause for any questions, and we're also going to launch a Discord this year, a web app this year. All of that is going to be like add-ons to the products that I just discussed. But I'll pause for questions on the products because I do get those a lot. And the other thing is, like, I've had questions, like a few other questions that I just want to answer right away. If you subscribe for less than the 50% holiday discount that we're offering, and you signed up for a year, like, I will honor that 50% discount whenever your subscription expires this year. Just ping me, be like, I was a paid subscriber, I want the 50%, mine just expired. You'll be honored, no problem. That's thing one. Thing two is, if you're in the wrong letter, like if you think you're better fit for the trading product and you want to switch to the investing, I'm happy to cancel your subscription, figure out like a free, figure out a way to like make you whole on that, depending on how long you've subscribed. And we'll switch your letter. We'll figure out like an appropriate discount or like a very low price that you can acquire the letter that you don't have at, in addition to what you paid. And that should be everything in terms, because I've gotten a lot of these questions about like the discount and like the different letters and the fit, and it has been a little confusing, and I'll work with you guys on that. The other thing, just to make very clear, is like, if you buy both letters at discounts, whatever, like that entitles you to a one-on-one session with me that we can schedule, and we can figure out the best letter for you and the best strategy. So that's everything. Does anyone have any questions?
As we wait to see if any questions come through, if you do that like portfolio where it's active trading versus kind of passive management, it would be super interesting to me to see which one performs better. Because if the less active one performs better, that'd be like, why am I going through all the stress of trading then every day, right? Type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And oh my God, I just checked. QQQ option sentiment is sitting at any other questions? I just got like sucked into that. And oh boy,
Jacob,
is it a bad
it's plunging, right? Yeah. Jacob is asking, is the $20 per month for the one-on-one meeting with you?
If you subscribe to both the $10 and the $20 a month, and if you subscribe to one and not the other, we can talk about how to make that work. If you subscribe to both, that entitles you to a one-on-one session. And most people I continue with, by the way, because like I actually really like to make sure that everybody is educated on this stuff.
Yeah, and he also asked before your thoughts on Tesla. If you want to get into actual stock topics, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be too high with QQQ on an option sentiment plunging, but
yeah, I am like changing things around. I'm actually gonna like get out like of a decent amount of my longs in the model portfolio. I might actually wait until tomorrow now. Like I said, that's the new thing. I might not update, but I will be like, QQQ net option sentiment at 18 is bad news. There's no two ways about that.
do we have a link for all of the services you just offered? Jacob's asking for it. Is they just on our website?
Yeah, they're on our website. You can get a link to depending on just email me, Prospero.ai. I'll answer all your questions directly. I'll get you set up in like a good deal. Don't worry about that, Jacob. We'll figure out at the very least, if you subscribe to one letter, I'll give you a discount on the other. We want you to try our products. We actually don't do free trials because one of the things that makes it complicated is when you sign up for the other one, you get when you get hired on some of this stuff, you actually get access to the model portfolio, and it's a lot of admin to have me keep track of all that stuff and give people a trial and then pull them off the portfolio and everything like that. But like, yeah, email me. I do one-on-ones with a lot of people. Like, that is something that is like an important part of my day.
So do we want to go right into the market update? You know, new calendar, new year. It seems like a lot of stuff may have changed, and how you're feeling with the first trading day of the year starting off so slowly, so poorly.
Yeah, I do not feel great about like I'm gonna look at Tesla right now. Like I don't like tech. I'm not like this is a bad start to the year for tech. I have been concerned about tech. I have been concerned about growth a little bit. I'm gonna get Tesla like live right now. Um, um, Tesla actually looks like pretty good. It's got 54 downside breakout is like pretty high for it. Like I'm a little concerned. 82 dark pool is like that's too high for me. So yeah, I don't feel great about Tesla. And like yeah, I'm about to sell a bunch of my tech. I'm about to like definitely like reevaluate a lot of my portfolio.
Interesting. That it's like that aggressive. What I mean, I know the calendar changes, but like what changes beside obviously the signals have changed too with it, but like why would it change so much? Just is everybody like thinking about how they can maximize returns in 2024 now, and that's why everything changes like in the blink of an eye?
I think it's just what I said. Like, I think people got very into the Santa rally, and like it created like I would say probably too much exuberance. Um, and then like Wall Street, it's like what I said. Wall Street is very much just like it can be like copycat, it could be groupthink, like more than people even know. Um, but yeah, like I would say that that's the thing. Like sometimes like Wall Street is like looking around their shoulders and being like we don't really know why this rally is happening, but we're going to get all the juice that we can out of it and be very ready to pull the plug quickly. And I think that's what happened today. Like it opened up a little rough, and they're all just like, "Oh, like this rally was too much. Like we should reevaluate."
Yeah, it seems like they all had the same thoughts going into today. And it's funny that we were already talking about Tesla because our first topic was going to be how BYD beat them for the second consecutive year on EV cars that they produced. And, you know, Tesla is supposed to be the leader or is thought of as the leader of all EVs worldwide, I would think. But if they're being beat, is that a concerning trend that companies are starting to be able to compete and outcompete Tesla?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I think it's one of those things that it's just like we we talk about um we talk about how a lot of this is perception, and I think like I don't know if this is a story that he planted, but we've actually like something that we talked about actually like very much that like I think it's so funny. Like people both think that we're like way too positive on Elon Musk and like way too negative. Like we have the Musk lovers and haters like coming at us. And like I said that a few times. Like normally you think I'm like a little too like Steven's always softer than me in these comments. Um, but like, yeah, I just think it's like really funny that like it's people on both sides come for us. And like, but the reality and what I've said about him is like until proven otherwise, like he's one of the best innovators as our time. And I've seen like little people like people just come and be like, oh, like he stole his ideas, he's bought these other companies. It's just like, who cares? Like, part of innovation is making an idea work. Like, these ideas are all out there in the ether. And like, I don't really give a shit about anyone that doesn't make the idea work or someone that just like, oh, like you had an idea for an electric car company, like, and self-driving capabilities. I was like, oh, what a brilliant fucking idea. Like, no, like anyone can have that idea. Who the fuck can make it work? That's all that matters. Like, and that's all to say that like we talk about this all the time. Like Elon Musk is like who he is because he makes these big ideas work. He brings them to life. And like, yeah, I think he's like back up to like the wealthiest person in the world or something like that, even after like the big hit he took from Twitter. And so like, yeah, or X or whatever, like we could talk about how stupid that is like all day long. But like to our point, we're just like, yeah, this all feels really stupid, but like do not consider yourself, and I don't consider myself like smarter than Elon Musk to a point where I'm like, he might be playing games we don't know he's playing. And like, you should always like leave that open to like proven innovators. And I've just like looked at like some people make fun of Steve Jobs too. Sometimes and just like, oh yeah, like he invented the iPod, but like, did he put it together in his garage? Like, does he know how to make an iPod? He's like, it's like, no. And like like the people that bring people to life, the people that hire the right people to bring it to life, like them getting the credit for it is like, I don't know why people have problems with that. Like, and like what I was originally going to say about Jobs and the iPod is like, I'm sure he's just like, I've even heard someone joke about this. And he probably like walks in today and he's like, I want to keep 5,000, like, I want 5,000 songs in like a little thing in our pockets. And like, that's what I want. Go make it. And like, I'm sure some of the people in that meeting were just like, okay, Steve, like, would you like a unicorn too? Like, you know, I'm sure there were people that came out of the meeting and his engineers just like, oh God, like what another headache Steve's creating for us. Like, but the bottom line is like, he had the ideas and he knows how to make them come to life. And like, that is what matters. And it doesn't matter if he's an engineer or not. Like, it actually matters. Like, I give tons of credit to my team for like making this Prospero app come to life. Like, most of the ideas start in my head, and some of the times I'm that Steve Jobs in that meeting, and my team is like, Jesus, George, can you just like calm the fuck down? Like, we're the ones that are gonna have to build this. And like, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, like, you know, maybe I need to take this back to the drawing board. Like, maybe like, but sometimes I'm just like, no, like not that stern. But sometimes I'm just like, this is what we need to build. Like, and it's just like, if it's going to take longer, if we need more people, if we need to refine, like, we're going to do that. But like, this is what we need to build. Like, I like see it. I know what we need to do. And it's like, it's both of those parts. And it's like my team gets tons of credit for like being on the other end of that, being like, this is what we could do. This is what we can't do. Like, you know, but like, I also, and they would give me the credit for being the person being like, sometimes it's being like, no, we're going to build this. Like, what are we doing here? If we're not innovating, if we're not building things that nobody else is building, and like maybe some other people think are impossible, like, what are we doing here? Like, because that's what we claim we're doing. So I would like to actually do that.
Mhm. Yeah, it seems like part of the job of a CEO is to like inspire others to, think bigger. And Musk does that better than anyone, I guess. And you were saying how we get so many comments on him. It's because I guess he's like a lightning rod. Like there's nobody who doesn't have an opinion on Musk. They either love him or hate him, like either way. Um, yeah.
It's weird. Some people just like want to not like successful, like my dad, or I like refuse to talk about this yesterday because like apparently my sister and my mom and my dad are all having this debate about Taylor Swift. And my dad doesn't like Taylor Swift. And like
I
the
caught part of
reality
that.
of, and you said this, like the reality is like Taylor Swift is one of the only artists right now that writes all her own stuff. She's been writing music since high school. Like, I don't even care if you like her music or not. Like, I respect the fact that she's one of the only people that is actually doing that. And she produces and she writes lyrics and she has the vision in her head. And she's like started country and like had a huge musical evolution. And honestly, like, I'm not saying she's the Beatles, but I've seen few other people like have the kind of musical evolution that she's had in terms of like where she started and ended up, all her ideas. Like, I've only ever seen like the Beatles have that kind of journey and stay popular as like, because there's some people that have this attitude like, oh, you're lucky to get my music, you know, and they become alienating and they're too full of themselves. Like, but like, that's the thing where it's just like, what are you talking about? You don't like Taylor Swift. It's like, okay, maybe you don't like who she is and that she's so popular and like, but it's just like, don't come for her music. It's maybe not for you, but like everybody else is just like not actually being artists anymore. And they're being like part of it. They're being performers or they're being songwriters or they're like optimizing different stuff. but she's actually one of the only people that's producing, that's writing, that has the vision, that like has like real performance chops and plays like long things, like long concerts. And it's just like that deserves your respect, whether or not you like her music.
So if Mr. Kalis is in the comments, please argue your point in the comments. But we'll leave that be for now. Swifties are welcome here.
He admitted that he didn't watch my live streams. He said something where I was just like, "Oh, I was like, you don't watch my live streams, do you?" It was kind of funny.
Yeah, I did get to meet him once, and he didn't recognize me, so that was kind of
Oh
telling.
no, that's how I knew. That's how I yeah, that's exactly how I knew. And I was like, "Oh, I guess you don't watch the live streams." Like, yeah.
Yep.
But he's not watching.
No, we're good. But spinning back to a topic I wanted to ask you about because there's no, signal or directive for this in Prospero right now, which I think might be cool. I don't know how important you think it is, but insider buying and selling of stocks, how important is that when deciding to invest in a company? Would that ever be in the Prospero app going forward?
So it is incredibly important, but the problem is like unfortunately it's like scheduled and it's on a delay and like there's like complications to it. And like there are two sides where it's like sometimes it's just some vice president that does, and like this is a big difference. And we actually like our most popular video on Tim Cook like went into that. And it really depends on who they are and how much money they have. If it's some vice president selling, like he might just want the money. Like it's not he or she. Sorry, that was lame. They might like want the money or like whatever. Like sadly, it is true. Like more vice presidents are men and women, and that men than women. That needs to change, especially in public companies. And it doesn't need to change because like people that are less qualified need to get jobs. It needs to change because like this view that women are less qualified is bullshit. And like or like just because they have kids that it means that they're like not as good workers. So yes, but it really depends. If it's some vice president at some like small cap company, them selling shares, like they might just need the money. But like Tim Cook selling shares like is a bad sign. It means he thinks the stock is going to go down. Like because like the important thing is like, do people need the liquidity? And like people need to understand the difference between like liquidity and net worth, right? A vice president that has like, let's call it like a $5 million net worth, right? They don't necessarily like have unlimited liquidity. And the easiest way for them to get liquidity, like cash, might be selling those shares. Like, because also keep in mind that especially if you have a gain on those shares, you will pay taxes. But for the bottom line is if your net worth is like $5 million, that selling the shares probably is the best way for you to get liquidity. If you're Tim Cook and you have a net worth of like, I don't know, billions, close to billions, like probably billions, like you don't need liquidity. You're just like, hey, I'm Tim Cook. Like I own like millions of shares of Apple. Like who wants to loan me money? Like to buy a boat or like whatever. And all the banks are like falling over themselves to lend him money. Like they don't even need that collateral. Like they know Tim Cook is good for the money. Like, and that's the difference between like liquidity and net worth. So the answer to that question is like overall, like you want to look at the insider ownership. Like, and I saw something, I was like, oh my God, that is a very low insider ownership. So just like go to Yahoo Finance. Like I would say anything lower than 10% insider ownership. Like I believe Amazon has still like close to 20%. Let me look. And we'll just go through a few right now. And like you go to Yahoo Finance, I believe you go into holders, like oh no, like maybe I got these numbers wrong. We'll look at a few actually. So Amazon is 9.62% held by insiders. Let's look at Apple. Apple is, holy crap. Apple is 0.07% held by insiders. Like, run for fucking cover. That is very low. That is insane. Like, I might consider shorting Apple now. That's absolutely insane. That is a bad sign that insiders want to hold it that little. If people want to call it out, I'm going to look at Tesla. And I'll set, I think I might have been a little too high with what I said before. Yeah, Tesla is 13.02% sold by hold by insiders. So like, yeah, that tells you something there that it's like the stock has climbed, but still 13% are held by insiders. Like that tells you how like valuable those insiders think the company is. Let's like look at some of our other favorites. Let's look at Meta, which we love. We still love this year. Oh, 0.17%. That's not great. But it is very held by institutions. That's not enough. Like, honestly, that could be for other reasons. I'm not really ready to like write them off for that reason. But I will look more into that specifically. I will say that like 78% by institutions is very good. That helps me a little bit with that insider problem. But because like just to give you an idea of that surrounding fact, like these kind of deals happen where Zuckerberg could be like, actually, I'm going to sell some hedge fund a lot of my shares. Like, but like I expect that hedge fund to hold it, like be like, you're going to hold it for 5 years and you're going to let me put my money into you for no fees. Like that's the kind of like thing where I see like that much held by institutions. Like there's another side to it. I still don't like it. And I need to look into it more. But let's look at the rest of the big seven while we're doing it. Yeah. Nvidia is 4% by insiders, 68% for institutions. So like, yeah, you can actually say that Meta, despite the fact that it's held a lot less by insiders, institutions plus insiders own more. And I think that that's actually the big thing. You definitely want institutions plus insiders to be close to 80%, I would say, because that's like closer to the general market. Let's look at Microsoft. They are 0.05% by insiders, 73.12 by institutions. That's not great. That's actually making Meta look better.
Can we look up like a smaller cap, newer company? Because I feel like a lot of those companies, like their insiders might have already been gone, right? I mean, the longer a stock is on the market, the less insiders are going to be holding it, most likely, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like look at ARM Holdings right now, like to your point, that's 90% by insiders. And yeah, that's the other side to it. The older a company is, but like I told you with Amazon, they're still 10% held by insiders. That's pretty old. That gives you an idea of like how those people feel. How do you use Prospero for scalping? I'm actually going to jump in here because I think that's very important. Like to be clear, unless you can scalp on your own, you don't use Prospero for scalping. Like if you do know how to scalp on your own, if you have your existing strategy, then you look at net option sentiment, you make sure it agrees. You look at the trend in net option sentiment, make sure it agrees. You make sure if your long upside breakout is greater than downside breakout. You make sure that profitability plus growth is above 100, and you reverse it for shorts. Downside breakout is greater than upside breakout. Profitability plus 100 is less, like profitability plus growth is less than 100. Those are your rules, especially trend on net option sentiment. But to be clear, Prospero is not a scalping tool. Like Prospero supports any strategy that you already have some familiarity with, and it will make you better. So yes, it is not a magic bullet. And this is like one of the reasons why we don't have trading in Prospero and why it's research only, because like we don't want to make it too easy for people. Like the bottom line is like Prospero can't magically tell you when to buy and sell. Nothing can. Prospero can improve whatever process you have and make you smarter in how you buy and sell already. And I'm happy to talk about how to use it to grow as a trader, how to grow as an investor. But like, you don't use anything for scalping. You slowly build up your skills to a point where you feel comfortable scalping and you feel comfortable finding those inefficiencies in the market, and you use Prospero to support that. But Prospero isn't going to turn you into a day trader like when you don't have any experience or competency in that already. It is not magic. Does that help?
I think that's a great explanation. It's a
I don't know
confidence
if,
builder in your trades.
I don't know if that was sufficient for Robin. Sorry, but like I feel very strongly about that. That it's just like everybody wants things magic, and too many people are selling you magic and magical products, but magical products doesn't exist. Nothing's going to take you from someone that doesn't know how to day trade into a day trader in like the blink of an eye. You need to, and like what I always say, and there's a good video that we can share. I can share it here. In terms of like long and short term investing, I'm going to share it in this chat. But why is it being like this? I'm just going to grab the link. I'm going to post it here. That's the video we have on long and short term investing that has a better long form answer on this. But yes, I think that's super, super important that it's just like, you know, one of the things I say in that is like, oh, I think it might have been in the other video that I will also post. One of the things I say is like, if you like, before you even think about trading options, because 90% of retail traders lose on options, like before you even think about touching an option, before you think about day trading, like you should be, and this is our options flow thing, like you should be someone that is like for a year or two been a successful, just like long short investor. Like if you want to jump into trading options, like when you haven't even like had years of success, consistent success in long short, like you are severely underestimating like the ease at which you can like acquire those skills, master those skills. Like investing in stocks is the toughest game you can play. Like don't expect it to be easy. That is the biggest way you will lose money. And like I don't care if you made 100% last year, if you did better than me. Like I don't care. Like that doesn't mean you can repeat that. That doesn't mean you know more than I do. Like it means you had a good year and like you might be onto something, but like what it likely means if you get too big of a head and you're like, I can make 100% every year, I promise you're more likely to lose 200% this year than hit 100% gain again.
That's the whole fooled by randomness thing we always talk about, right? So
Yeah.
it has to be replicatable, repeatable, process oriented. Spinning into our next topic, Disney has a concerning thing that's happened. On January 1st, they lost the exclusive rights to their original Mickey Mouse character after 96 years. It came out in 1928. There's already a horror game being developed based on the character Infestation 88. So expect to see a lot of Mickey Mouse use, I guess, all over the place. But is this a concerning thing for Disney with a lot of their original content being like aged out of their full control?
Oh yeah. Like we've talked a lot about like some Disney concerns and like yeah, I think like part of like what they did was like they had this IP. They had this like they had these trademarks. They're very good like legally, but like yeah, especially like as we enter onto this like open source world, like that stuff is disappearing. And like, I think that like I think where people always get this kind of stuff wrong is like there's people that are like, yep, Disney's dead. Like they lost Mickey Mouse. And there's people on that end. And it's just like, no, like calm down. Like it is definitely an issue for them. And like part of their stranglehold is they have this IP and they have the parks around it and everything, and they build this whole universe that they own. Like it is a chink in their armor. It is not like it's not like the death of Disney yet. They're in definite decline. And the other thing that we talked about is like I don't like businesses, and like we talked about this in reference to like AMC, like it's the same kind of thing. It's like the theaters are dead. It's like no, they're not dead, but like they have not hit pre-pandemic like revenues, and that's a big reason they're not profitable yet. Or like they made a small profit. Like, but yeah, anything like parks, like where like you're talking about like essentially needing like needing people to go to where you're going. Like I am more concerned about those business models going forward for sure. Like it's not the same. And like there's a really good like new like Ricky Gervais special that like I thought is like really good, partially because like it comes for like a lot of like it does what I think a lot of like conservatives like want to do that I don't think they do good enough because they're also being biased. It comes for people being woke, but it does it in like a fair and measured way that's not like politically charged, which is just like, yeah, like there's a lot of hypocrisy in like some of this stuff. And like, it's like a lot of it is like basically being like, oh, like we want freedoms, but like we want freedoms, but you should do exactly what we say. And it's just like, and you should say things exactly how we say them. And it's just like, okay, like that doesn't sound like freedom to me. Like, so I get the pushback, but some of it is just like way too much. Anyway, like I do think like basically like one of the things that he talks about is like realistically, like because of the path of like, you know, deforestation, a lot of things like realistically, like we are entering a world where pandemics are just going to be more and more part of our lives. And like America has known about this for a long time, by the way. Like we first started talking about needing better pandemic preparedness in like the Bush administration. So I think that like I'm not doom and gloom. I'm not like, oh, we're never going to be able to go out in public anymore. But like if you're not looking at businesses differently that focus on people being there physically, you're an idiot. Like you need to look at those businesses differently, and that is like what is starting to get priced into Disney. I would say more than the Mickey Mouse stuff, where it's just like, yeah, any business that's that dependent on IRL stuff, there is some risk that very much needs to be priced into it now.
And not even like to mention like the pandemic stuff, but just the world going digital. It's like everybody is preferring digital alternatives to real life stuff. It seems like, at least. We'll see if that carries over with these VR
Yeah.
headsets. They're like the first step of, real life. I don't know, VR,
We got to
whatever you want to
speed
call it.
through a little more. So
Yeah,
let's
I could
start
just
shooting through the other topics.
okay. We can save
Maybe
some
let's
too
do
if we want
AI.
to.
Let's do AI next week because that's like a little less time sensitive.
Okay.
And let's do selling options, like especially with the bear market. I don't think. But like the Fed cuts, like I just took a look. Like we should definitely talk about like there is 100% ease in like a 99% ease in May, and like through the end of the year, 100% chance of ease. Like in March, there's now a 78% of ease, 0% chance of hike. Like, yeah. So like to your question, the market is like very, very sure, like that we're gonna get eases, and those eases are coming. It looks very fairly like pretty certain about 6, like and like pretty certain about 7. Jacob, I'm not really sure what you mean by investing in private healthcare companies. Like, how would you invest in private healthcare companies? Like, anyway, like I'm just gonna make it really easy. Like, we only talk about public equities here, like for a reason, because like once you start going venturing away from that, it gets very hard. And like more specifically, like we don't really even talk about anything outside of like companies that have well traded options, because those are our more reliable models. So like we're not touching that. Our models don't really touch that. Sorry. Pharma, biotech is the riskiest businesses to invest in. I go back and forth on like if it's even worth it. Like I think it's worth like having it as part of your portfolio, and like we like Eli Lilly for that. We actually like I think Cigna a decent amount now. And yeah, one other thing that I'm going to talk about in reference to this is like I actually like I know Bruce emailed me this morning. He's asking me about crypto, and I'm still going to get back to you, Bruce, even if you are watching. But just so everyone knows, people ask us about crypto all the time, and do we or do we not predict it? I have all of the following things to say about crypto. One is we don't predict it, because like I test models just like I test models on thinly traded options, and the models are unreliable. And I always dig a level deeper and be like, why is it unreliable? Is it something I can forecast? Blah, 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 all of that stuff. And like for crypto, and I've said this many times, there's not public information, or there's not a deposit, like a repository. Like I asked someone that was like worked for like the largest crypto hedge fund if they had a handle on like all of the leverage in the markets, and they said no. And when I say leverage, that means like the levered ETFs that are like 80 to 1 or 45 to 1, which, like, for the love of God, do not touch any levered crypto, like, unless you've invested in it, like I'm saying, successfully unlevered for like at least 2 or 3 years. And like, I doubt you've like invested successfully in crypto for the last 2 or 3 years, because you probably got burned pretty hard in like what happened. So that's thing one. Like, thing two is like, if you don't even know where the leverage is and like why our models work, why Prospero works, is we're visualizing where institutions are making their bets in the options markets, because the options markets have more truth. Like anyone could buy shares of a stock that they actually plan on buying more put options more to make you think that they're bullish. Anyone can do that, right? And like, fortunately, Prospero can show you that. Like, oh, like actually institutions, like it doesn't matter that all these people are like buying this stock, like, because we actually see that they're betting more heavily against it in the options markets. So there's truth in the options markets. And that's why, like, I want to build crypto models, but the fact is it's a goddamn scam. It's filled with criminals. Like, we actually know 3 of the 4 largest like crypto things like are like had criminality going on in them. So it's just like, yeah, like not everyone in crypto is a criminal, but there are too many criminals in crypto to like trust these opaque markets where we can't even see where we're like the largest crypto hedge fund can't even see where everybody's making their bets. So like the problem about it is like, and what I say is like, do I believe in crypto long term? Like, yeah, I do. But like, do I want to invest in it today? No. I'd rather put my money in things that Prospero likes, that are like well risk controlled, where I can see where the options bets are. That's where I want to put my money today. Like when I get more assurance, like, and that's the thing, like just because crypto goes up, just because Bitcoin goes up 100% in the next year, that doesn't mean you weren't taking on way too much risk. Like you could be right, you could make 100%, and like, just so you know, the reason you made 100% on it is because there was a lot of risk involved. You don't make 100% on a trade that isn't just like littered with risk. So like, just because you've seen crypto go up a bunch and your friends were like, I was right, ha ha, that doesn't mean they're smart. It means that they took on a lot of risk and this time they were right, but they've probably been wrong for years. And crypto is a goddamn cult filled with too many scammers and criminals. So like, stay away. Like, if you would like exposure to blockchain, which is smart, what I suggest is buy BLOK, Block. It is a diversified blockchain exposure. There's crypto miners, there's Square, there's PayPal with like blockchain exposure. There's all this stuff that if you want the upside, and you can look, like I could look at the chart on Block. Like, let's look at how much Block is up in the last, like, yeah, in the last 6 months. Block is up, like, let's see. Block is up 50% in the last 6 months. So you would made a fine return on that risk diversified blockchain exposure. Like, so that is what you should buy. Like, you should consider yourself lucky if you do well in crypto. Like, and don't buy that. It doesn't make you smart. It means that you took on a lot of risk and maybe you were right this time.
Well, that should be crystal clear for people who are wondering about your crypto opinions. That will make a good video too. So we could talk about how if AI is going to repeat its importance in 2024, like how it did in 2023, and then go into the model portfolio.
No, we got to go into the model portfolio right now. I'm already pretty
Let's just
late.
do it.
Yeah. I need to do this in order. I'm going to have you look at our current, like while I look at this, look at like our current like newsletter longs and shorts. Oh, I need to like start like, you should know what they are. Go in like last week's newsletter, pull them up. So like I could just like rattle them off. It's like Meta, it's Google, it's BKNG, it's like MLM and IWM, and then our shorts are EURN and HUYA. Just like look at all of those, look at their raw numbers, look at the trends, take some notes and send them to me while I pull up this other stuff. Can you do that?
Yes, I'm going to do it.
And do the QQQ and SPY net option sentiment. And I will share it and we'll look at Steven's notes and we'll see like we'll see if we all agree with Steven's notes. We're going to put him on the spot. Sorry, Steven. Oh, and sorry, everybody. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let's go in. ETFs are covered. Sorry. Here is our list of ETFs that are covered. Thanks for the question, Alex. These are the ones in there. We can add more. We can talk about like why we don't have them a little more at the end once I'm done with this. But for now, I need to like focus on this model portfolio update. Like I need to stop.
George, this is the right. I have the right list, right? Joby, CLH, CI, MPWR, all
No,
long.
you don't. Sorry. You are like look in the newsletter. In the investing letter last Sunday or Monday. It's like the 12/26 letter, I believe. Find that.
All right, I got the right one now.
Yep, I gave you the list. You have it, right? At the bottom, it just like lists them all. So you're just taking notes. You're taking notes on like the time series, like options, sentiment stuff. Steven?
Yeah. I'm doing that right now.
Oh, come on. Now we're just doing our thing where we're taking like a hack to our longs because we want to get rid of a bunch. we cut some of these? That's that, maybe. We got really overexposed to industrials. Like, I don't know when. What's going on over there, Steven?
I am on my last short, and then I have them all done except for IWM because that's not in there. But besides that, I got them all.
Oh God. Yeah, we gotta get out of this. Gotta get out of this. Yikes. What happened to all of these industrials things? I have no idea. Oh, that's actually all right. I think I got out of Boeing and I just didn't note it. Yeah, I think I got out. ODFL, always screwing me over. I think we're going to leave that. We're getting out of all of those. Wow, damn. Okay, 44. And we're dropping this many. Dropping 12. Will you send me that stuff, Steven?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
No problem. Email it to me, Steven.
On it.
Steven?
Yep.
Email it. Okay. I actually just want to take a quick look at this. I just want to check if there's any like glaring problems in these shorts, and then I just want to do new shorts. We're not dropping any shorts. We are looking for some new shorts. Actually, let's see how many shorts we have. Oh, 45. Damn. So we might actually be good where we're at. But I do want to look for any new ones.
Got my email?
Yeah, let's see. Actually, let's just do that. I will hold all that for now. We're going to hold all this for now. Yeah, we're going to hold. Do we want any new shorts? Okay. Oh, wow, that's weird. This light went out for some reason. I don't know what the hell is going on there. I wanted to see if there's any glaring short opportunities. Ooh, zooms.
iRobot looks pretty bad in Prospero.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great. Let's look at Tcon, and then we might be done because it's time. Nah. Okay. WPC. Reach. No. DRH. Oh, yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, okay. All right. So, okay, so we want zooms. We want IRPR. What was the other one?
Of the shorts that we had?
Mm-hmm.
EURN, Huya, and LPL.
No. We said RRBT. I think I said, oh yeah, ZUMZ, and then I also had another one. What was it? Was it DRH? I think it was DRH. Yeah, I think it was DRH. Yeah, it was DRH, and then I just want to see out. No. Ooh, that could be good. No, I don't like that. I do want to look at one more thing. What did I say? Because I have FIBK, and then we're done. No. All right, we're done with that. We're sticking with the portfolio as it was. Thanks, Steven. Any other questions? Did we get any?
We did not. QQQ ends the day at 19 net option sentiment.
Yeah, like basically the reason I didn't tinker too much is like I want to I definitely want to, and I can pause for questions now that I have that set out. I definitely want to see how tomorrow looks because this could just be like a quick correction that reverses, but like I want to see how we open tomorrow before I make any drastic changes. I mean, that was pretty drastic what I just did on the long side. But
yeah, SPY still at 45 net option sentiment, so that's hanging in there. So maybe QQQ can come back.
Yeah, but it's lower than it has been. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else? Like, should we do well? How many people do we have? 9. Let's just do the AI thing next week. I got a bunch of other things to do.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Another stream this week, or are we going to start Monday again?
We are. No, I think the only question is whether we do it
Tuesday.
I think we're going to do it Thursday Friday. Now that we did this one. Yeah, I think we'll do one Thursday, but we'll get back to you on it, everyone.
Yep.
But yeah, if you want to like punch in, like we're gonna have like a survey. If anybody wants to like I'm gonna post my email here, and also in Discord. I saw that part. And you can always just like feel free to send me like anything that you want. And like I'm actually thinking of doing the kind of thing where I actually maybe do like some shorter ones, where I just like pop in and do it. But yeah, we're open for like give us your suggestions.
Yes, tell us when you're available to view. We're here for you, to the viewers.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys.
See everybody again this week. See you soon, George. Happy trading, everyone.